So when I heard the battering ram at the door, I assumed it was a home invasion, and I took off from my attic to hide. And I got to the top of the stairs, and the SWAT team was following me up the stairs, and they tackled me and flipped me over, and the guy put a gun in my face and said, "If you move, I will kill you." So I was raised in a lovely, very, very conservative, gated community about 30 miles outside of New York City, a place called Smoke Rise. It was in the hills in the northern part of New Jersey. It was all Republican. It was all white. I think the closest thing we had to minorities were Catholics or Democrats. Gay marriage was decades away. My family had moved to North Carolina. They begged me to apply to Duke. And when I read the application, it said that they had started to institute a non-discrimination policy based on sexual orientation. So I wrote my whole essay about how great that policy was, because my being gay shouldn't be a factor in my being admitted to law school. That became a theme for the rest of my life. That's part of what I'm doing today. Taking a negative from my past, turning it around and making it a positive. I didn't know anything about meth the first time I tried it. I'd always said I did not want to try narcotics cases. I didn't believe in the war on drugs. But by doing that, I kept myself really ignorant about what that drug could do. And it was truly a perfect storm of addiction for me. I lost weight without effort. I had amazing self-confidence. That's what the drug does for you. So normally, your brain is producing about 100 units of dopamine. But with methamphetamine, your dopamine level goes up to 1,250 units for 12 to 24 hours. So once you've experienced that high a couple of times, ideas like self-control or free will become very theoretical concepts. The withdrawal problems start. And when you stop using meth after a long run, you feel impossibly weak, like you can't move your muscles weak, you can't wake up, you can't stop eating. You have crying jags for no reason. You feel like you're going insane. And like most addicts with most drugs, eventually you can't take withdrawal anymore. And you'll become a daily subsistence user just to avoid the withdrawal. And that's what happened to me. And eventually it took over my life until finally I was caught one day at work with drugs. I knew what happened if a prosecutor was caught with drugs. You had to resign. There was no way back. The blowback in the press was intense. People were so angry, especially the public defenders were outraged. And that was it. That was the blood in the water, and the sharks came in. Any chance I had to earn any money in a legitimate law practice was over. All my funds dried up. I feel like drugs took me away from myself. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can't afford a 2-year inpatient drug rehab, prison is like the rehab of last resort. It's like the poor man's rehab. It was a great learning experience. I still have close friends. When I got out, I wanted to stay in the law, but Washington State has a rule that disbarred attorneys cannot work as paralegals. North Carolina didn't have that rule, and that's where my family was. So my brothers came and actually met me at the gate when I got released. Met with my parole officer. We talked them into letting me move back to North Carolina. I got involved with the North Carolina State Bar's Lawyers Assistance Program, and I became a recovery coach for addicted lawyers. I started doing some public speaking, and slowly, over the course of that 8.5 years in North Carolina, I reapplied to the bar here. So in 2010, I got readmitted, and that was around the time I met Michael, my husband. I had given up, and I was completely okay going through the rest of my life alone. It would have been fine, and if I hadn't met Michael, I still think I'd be a happy, psychologically healthy person. So that's really the best time to meet somebody, when you're not looking for them and you're not expecting them.
Yeah, it was on the very first date that we actually had that he told me all about it. I think what I really appreciate and what I'm grateful for is that he's come back fully into his own. I think into the person he used to be prior to all the challenges that he faced. You know, I think there's more happiness and stability now in Wil. There were many challenges along the way, of course. There was a big crisis back in the 80s with AIDS and everything, so you know, we both made it this far in life, and that's good, because neither one of us has succeeded to ever have had such a long-term relationship in our lives.
I want just to have that career back where you get up in the morning and you drink coffee and you go to a job you like and you live in a house you love with somebody that you love. And it didn't seem boring at all anymore. It seemed like the most exotic kind of wonderful lifestyle that I could imagine. And I'm living that dream now. I'm a much more compassionate person, probably, than I was before. I feel a genuine connection to my criminal law clients that I couldn't have before. I can offer them a level of support, especially if they have to do time, that I don't think a lot of attorneys can do. It doesn't really matter what goes down during your addiction. You can come back. You can. And people don't know that because nobody goes through a meth addiction, recovers, and then tells people that they were addicted. The stigma is way too intense. But I think that if recovered meth addicts don't start coming out of the shadows and showing their recovery to the world, that lie that you can't recover from meth addiction is going to be the greatest obstacle they face when they try to recover. It was always me. It was always me through the whole process, but there are many different sides of yourself you might not know about.